Hey guys, what's up? JK with PornReboot here. I just got in from my morning workout and I was about to get started with the day, and I decided that I was going to answer a question that I've been receiving quite often over the past year or so, and that is, what supplements do I take and what supplements can help you if you're struggling with, firstly, some of the withdrawal symptoms from recovering from porn and masturbation addiction, and secondly, from PIED, that's porn-induced erectile dysfunction. As some of you may know, and if you don't know, you're going to know today, when you're recovering from an addiction to pornography or masturbation, you experience withdrawal symptoms, and they vary from man to man. Some of these symptoms could be things like irritability, fatigue, mental fog, brain fog, and then of course, the second thing that some of us experience is porn-induced erectile dysfunction. Now, of course, for you to get through all of these withdrawal symptoms, your brain does have to rewire over a certain period of time. That's just a natural part of recovery. But there are some things that you can do to make this recovery period a little bit easier. There are two areas that you can get help, and the first area is with your sexual health, and the second is with your mental health. It is very, very frustrating and sometimes discouraging to be an active person with a career or a person who's trying to improve their life and then wake up in the morning to brain fog or have to interact with people in your job or your family and experience irritability, or be in a relationship and not able to function sexually due to low sex drive or premature ejaculation. So in my recovery, there were a few things that I used to supplement, and I did a lot of research on them and pretty much used myself as a human guinea pig. Early in my recovery, especially during the first 2 years, I was in a really rough place in terms of my lifestyle and my finances. And one of the things I was trying to do was get back on my feet financially and also improve my lifestyle and become a much more social person. I was struggling with a lot of social anxiety. So I had gotten an internship, which eventually became my career. It was a sales internship, and this internship required me to put in about 12 to 14 hours, 6 days a week during the summer, and then work part-time during the regular semester. And the withdrawal symptoms from my addiction were just killing me. So I really needed to figure out what would help me, and I tried some unhealthy things, I tried some healthy things, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some of the supplements that worked for me. A lot of the supplements I'm going to share with you guys today are also supplements that I've discovered over the past couple of years while I've been recovered that help me in my current lifestyle. So currently I do work a lot, I enjoy what I do, I'm excited about it, so I regularly put in about 70, 80 hours a week, but at the same time, that's a lot of work. And I have to stay healthy in order to serve my clients and to serve you guys to the best of my ability. And also to be able to spend time with my loved ones, with my friends, and have some kind of active social lifestyle. So I'm going to be sharing these with you. And one thing I want to let you know is that I'm not a medical professional, all right? I'm a recovery coach, I'm a recovery mentor. So any supplement that I recommend here, I highly recommend that you check with a medical professional, you consult with a medical professional before you take any of them. Nothing here is illegal, everything can be purchased over the counter, and you certainly have no obligation to take any of them while you're in your recovery. Some people do believe that supplements are bullshit. I talk to some of my clients, I'm like, hey bro, do you take any supplements? He's like, nah bro, I don't need those things. I just, eat a healthy, balanced diet and I exercise and I'm good. That's absolutely fine if you are an average person who is not dealing with an addiction. But if you're a person who's very active and who would like to, let's say, slightly accelerate your recovery and make it a little bit more comfortable, some of these supplements might help. So let's get into it. And I also want to say one more thing. This is my first time sharing these supplements with you guys, so I might butcher, actually I probably will butcher some of the names. Please bear with me, and don't be that dude who's in the comment section who says, hey bro, I love the material you share, it's so awesome, but not being able to pronounce creatine really doesn't help with your credibility, because my response will be like, fuck you. All right, I'm just messing with you guys. Let's get into it, okay? So I'm just gonna start with the most basic one that I try to take every day. And this first one is Optimen. by On Nutrition, okay? OptiMan, this is actually pretty popular. You might have seen it around. I basically take it every day. It's a good all-round multivitamin for men. And if you're not gonna take anything here, you should be taking this because there's a lot of vitamins and minerals that we do not get in our regular diets. So I highly recommend that. That's OptiMan. I'm gonna share what I use for my sexual health. And you may have never heard of these before. One other thing I'm going to do to help you out is I'm also going to provide links to some of these studies that have been done on these supplements so that you can decide for yourself whether they're gonna help you or not just from, oh, JK is talking about them, okay? The first is these two. Now, this is L-carnitine and acetyl L-carnitine. This is 400 milligrams and this is 500 milligrams from pipingrock.com and from Puritan's Pride. I actually get a lot of my supplements from here, so you can take a closer look at it. It's probably going to be inverted because it's on the camera. And this is L-carnitine. Now I'm going to include the study where it shares the benefits of taking both of these for about 3 months. And in the study, it showed that men who took both L-carnitine and acetyl L-carnitine for a period of 3 to 6 months experienced a much higher sex drive. And this might be something that helps some of you guys who are flatlining. Now, I personally take it, and I'll be as transparent with you guys as possible. You may be like, well, JK, if you're recovered, why would you need this? The reality is I work very long hours, and sometimes I'm so focused at work, sometimes I am tired, and one of the side effects of not getting a lot of sleep is that your sex drive suffers and your testosterone production drops. So I do supplement for several months when I am, let's say, really focused on a specific project and I need my sex drive to be up there so that my relationship can work. Okay, so that's the reason I take these, but they have worked for me. And I've tried them. I've been taking these for the past 3 years or so. So, you know, the first time I took it, to be honest, I actually was like, is this a placebo? What the heck's going on here? But it's worked for me and my sex drive has definitely benefited from it. The next is what I use for testosterone optimization. And I use pure magnesium and I use the zinc. Now I'll give you a closer look at them, okay? Now both magnesium and zinc in certain amounts, I try to take at least 100 milligrams of zinc per day. Now both of these help with testosterone production, and some of us are not getting enough zinc and magnesium in our regular diets. If you aren't, then about 100 milligrams of zinc and about 200 milligrams of magnesium on a regular basis are really going to help with your testosterone production. I'm going to leave studies for that below. And the reason why I say this over and over again is that some of you guys have low testosterone and you just don't know it. But a lot of the symptoms of low testosterone are very similar to the symptoms of porn addiction, especially some of the withdrawal symptoms. So I highly recommend you get your levels tested. And if you want to naturally optimize those levels, I would just start with the basics, zinc and magnesium. The studies are below this video in the description. Next is vitamin D3. Now I don't spend much time outside during the day because a lot of my work is done inside, so I have to make sure that I am taking some kind of vitamin D3 supplement, and this is exactly what I take. One of the specific reasons why I take it is because it also helps in your testosterone production, and having low levels of vitamin D will negatively affect that. So the next two that I'm going to share with you are my secrets for my mood and for being social. And I think these are really going to benefit those of you who are struggling with a little bit of social anxiety. Now, in the first 2 years of my recovery, one of my big goals was to overcome my social anxiety, which was the reason why I got a sales internship, because it would force me to speak to people, and that really helped. When it came to things like dating, I did not want to depend on alcohol and use it as a crutch while talking to women. And of course, I couldn't drink during the day. So one of the things I really searched for was a supplement that would help me be a little bit more pro-social, something that was safe. And of course, the better a mood I was in, the more motivated I would be to be social. In terms of right now, I definitely need to be in a good mood most of the week because I'm interacting with people. If I'm not recording a podcast, I'm shooting a video, I'm working with clients, I'm doing group coaching, I'm going somewhere and speaking. So sometimes I'm just not in the mood and I need a little bit of help. But one of the things I do to optimize it is I take supplements. And the first supplement I take is 5-HTP. And this is one of my favorites. I discovered it about 10 years ago. And I used to take this in St. John's Wort. I'm not taking St. John's Wort anymore. But 5-HTP is described as neurotransmitter support, and it supports a positive mood. You take this at night before you go to bed. I actually thought that it was a placebo. I stopped using it after about 2 months. Then I ran into a guy who swore by 5-HTP for dealing with his depression. And I told him about my experience, and he was like, dude, you need to take it consistently for about 2 weeks before it kicks in. And he's like, it's gonna kick in anywhere between that 1 week point and the 2 weeks. He's like, it's a supplement. It's not like cocaine. It's not something that's magical, that's going to hit you immediately. It needs to, I guess, circulate in your system for a little bit. And once I took it, it took me about, from my log, I think it took me about 12, 13 days. And I woke up in the morning and I was feeling awesome. Now, of course, you have to be getting enough sleep. You have to be eating well for supplements to work. They are supplements to your health. The next one is for your social life, and this is Red Monkey by Red Supplements. Now, this is mainly a compound called Phenibut. And I know it's a funny name, but Phenibut is basically kills your social anxiety. And it's not something that you can take regularly. It's something that you can take probably about twice a week if you're going to be social. I usually take it with a little bit of caffeine if I'm going out to be social with people, not for work, maybe just hanging out with friends and I need to be upbeat and we're gonna be out for a couple of hours. So I take it sparingly. I've actually had this bottle for almost 2 years, so I just take it once in a while. I don't really need it. But for some of you who are really trying to beat your social anxiety, this might be a godsend. And there's a link to where to get it in the description below. It is Red Monkey by Red Supplements. One more thing I will add is that this also contains 5-HTP. So because I already take 5-HTP, that's one of the reasons why I don't go too hard on this. But the Phenibut in it is what is a powerful compound. Now I will leave links again in the description for you to look it up because you may never have heard of it before. All right. The next supplement that I take is, and I'm going to mess up the pronunciation on this, is chlorella. Okay, I hope that's how you pronounce it. But anyway, this is a green superfood. It's basically chlorophyll, okay? And what it does is that it detoxifies you. Now, one of the things I struggled with, I came across it by accident. I used to struggle with bad breath years ago. And no matter how much I cleaned my tongue, no matter how much I rinsed my mouth, brushed my teeth, had mints, nothing worked until I learned about chlorella. And when I take it with water, and it works for most people, what it does is that it detoxifies and neutralizes a lot of odors and gases in your digestive tract, your stomach as well. And so it just kills your really bad breath. And then I found out another thing that it does, apart from being a green superfood and being good for you because it detoxifies, is that it is great for hangovers. I don't drink as much as I used to. And these days, even a glass of wine will make me wake up and feel not hungover, but just, I drank last night. And I just don't need that because I need to be productive. So I just started taking half a teaspoonful of this with a glass of water after I was done drinking before I went to bed. Wake up the next morning, I would totally forget that I had wine or vodka or whatever. So it is amazing and I highly recommend it. You're like, well, what does this have to do with recovery? Nothing. It's just something that might help you if you have one of these issues. These are the supplements that I take. Next supplement I take is fish oil. Now, you do need to get in your omega-3s. I don't eat much fish, so I don't get much of that. So I take 1,200 milligrams of this. Another thing I use it for is with caffeine. And when I take caffeine in the morning, when you take caffeine, you're going to experience a crash. Always remember that when you take caffeine, you are borrowing time from the future. So those of you who drink coffee first thing in the morning, that's one of the reasons why you're crashing at 1 or 2 o'clock. Another reason, of course, why you're crashing at 1 or 2 p.m. is because you're on your phone all the time and you spend a lot of mental energy jumping from one social media to the other, watching videos and emails and stuff like that. But that's stuff for another video when it comes to energy. I drink my coffee because I fast on an empty stomach with one pill of 1200 milligram fish oil by Nature Made. And what it does is that it slows down the absorption of the caffeine. So I basically have the caffeine effective in my system for a much longer period of time. So it's awesome for that. Now, I don't hate vegetables. I love vegetables, but with my schedule, it takes so freaking long to eat vegetables. Just chewing it, I don't have time for that. So I get them from Barleans, and I love most of their flavors. This is their berry green, so it tastes like berries. You can mix it with juice. They also have absolutely delicious chocolate blend, but you get all your veggies from here. I mean, all the things in here. Delicious all-natural flavor from berries, contains vital antioxidants from berries, grasses, fruits, and vegetables. It's non-GMO, vegan, kosher, all those concerns. I mean, this stuff is amazing. Organic barley grass powder, organic alfalfa powder, organic spinach. This is more than what I would eat when it comes to vegetables, and also vegetables that I would never touch as well. So it's amazing. I take a scoop a day. I love it. The next supplement I take is collagen, and one of the reasons I started taking this is because of joint issues I was having when lifting at the gym, and this came highly recommended. They are big ass pills. It's like 6,000 milligrams. So this is the size of a pill. Look at this sucker. I don't know if I'm doing it justice, but it's a big ass pill, and you're gonna be taking 6 of this if you choose to take this. That's 1 serving of this. So it's great for your hair, your skin, your nails, your joints, and your bones. So if you're a very active person and you've started experiencing joint issues, this is really gonna help. I also have terrible skin, and this really helps with my complexion, removing a lot of dark spots. This really helps with collagen production, and I do notice it on my face. Next 2 supplements I take are my aminos and my pre-workout. Now my pre-workout is pretty simple. It's nitric oxide with some creatine. And my amino is, man, this stuff is delicious. I'll talk about this in a second. But the reason I take this as a pre-workout is mainly because it gives me a really nice pump. And it's just super affordable. I don't think you need anything complex when it comes to workouts. The creatine really helps with recovery. This has a little bit of caffeine in it, which really helps with my focus early in the morning. But I do take it sparingly. So it's something that I'll take on days where I know I'm gonna lift really heavy. Also for me, having that pump after a workout just makes me feel really good. And those of you who work out, you can probably relate as well. As I mentioned earlier, I do fast. I do intermittent fasting. So I fast, I do not eat, I only drink water for a 16-hour window. And for the remaining 8-hour window, I eat. Well, let me correct myself. I also drink coffee sometimes during that window. And one of the things that I take to make sure that I do not lose muscle, and now I'm going into the bro science area, is amino acids. Now there's a lot of stuff out there about whether it works or not. I found that it works for me because when I started fasting and I didn't take any aminos, I'm a guy with a very fast metabolism. I'm actually a really skinny guy. Everything you see that may give me a little bit of bulk, whatever you see, is just muscle. If I'm not going to the gym, I'm a freaking beanpole. I'm so skinny that if I just stood sideways and stuck my tongue out, you'd think I was a zipper. So aminos really helps me. I take it while I'm fasting, and this is absolutely delicious. This is blackberry lemonade by NutriAuthority. And I make popsicles out of it, put it in the freezer, and I'm on that during the day. So it's absolutely delicious. It also gives me a little bit of energy while I'm fasting. Now understand that when you are doing intermittent fasting, what's happening is that you are burning a lot of fat, and you're using that fat as fuel as opposed to food. It works for me, gives me so much energy. It's one of my secrets to working 16+ hour days. And that's just because when I eat, I just get super sluggish. So I don't do breakfast, I don't do nothing. My first meal is pretty much about 2, 3 o'clock, sometimes 4 o'clock. It really depends on what time I went to bed the last night or that morning. So that's what I use just for fitness, for lifting. Now, another thing I wanted to share with you guys is what I use for dehydration. And this is, not everybody uses this, but when you wake up first thing in the morning, you're dehydrated, which means that you've been sleeping for 7, 8, 9 hours. You haven't had any fluids in your body. And a lot of us wake up and we don't drink any water. We just begin our day. And you then experience all the effects of dehydration, headaches, fatigue, and more. So one of the things that you want to be doing is, of course, drinking a lot of water throughout the day. We are made up of mostly water. But one of the things I found that really helps me when I'm very dehydrated, because sometimes I can focus for a 3-hour period, a 4-hour period and not drink anything, is Pedialyte. And Pedialyte is basically, it's a formula for babies, and it's to prevent babies from getting dehydrated. But it's something that a friend told me about years ago, but they now have a version. It's basically electrolytes. It's like Gatorade on steroids. It's amazing. But they now have one which is Pedialyte Advanced Care, which is for adults. And again, I don't use it a lot. It's pricey actually, so I'm just like, I'll just drink enough water. But I do use it particularly when I travel, because when you're on airplanes, you get dehydrated faster. And putting about half a sachet of this in a bottle of water really helps. Some mornings I'm really dehydrated. I have a headache, and then I'll go to the gym and come back and I sweat a lot, and I just realize, I'm like, man, I need to get some electrolytes in me because I'm not going to be eating for another couple of hours. So I don't want anything to be messed up in my body. And that's where Pedialyte comes in. So check it out. So guys, that's my supplement stack for the most part. Again, you don't have to take these, but I've just spoken to so many men who I feel would benefit from a specific type of supplement, and many men just haven't built this habit of taking care of their health to the point that they're getting regular blood work, they're getting their hormone levels checked. And the reality is, this is 2018. If you live in a developed or even a developing country, in fact, some third world countries and developing countries offer way more affordable medical care and lab tests than you do get in the West. And there are many people who fly out to Thailand, to Costa Rica, to Mexico, to India to get a lot of work done. So some of you living in these countries can definitely benefit from it. But if you live in a Western country, it's 2018, there is access to this sort of medical health to help you perform optimally. And if you're struggling with porn or masturbation addiction, life is passing you by. If you're a professional, if you've got to go to work, if you're building a business, if you've got a family, listen, your life is not going to be put on pause just because of your porn addiction. So if there's anywhere that you're lagging, supplements could help you. So I highly recommend that you look into it. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have about this in the comment section. And if you need more resources, you're like, well, JK, I want to learn more about it. Could you recommend some resources? I can do that for you. Now, I will be honest with you guys, this is not everything that I take for my health. There are a few other things, but I'm not going to share them with you guys here because let's just say that they are mostly for research purposes, and a lot of them, the effects of taking them are not really known. They haven't been studied for a long time. None of them are illegal or anything like that, but I don't think that's material that is appropriate for this video. I do, however, share it with men who are in my group coaching. So men who are in the PornReboot Intensive, I mean, they're there, they've invested in it, they want to optimize their life while quitting porn and masturbation. So I'm happy to share it with them. But if you want to know more about that, then at some point when you are ready to really take the leap and get mentorship in your recovery, I'll be happy to help you. You can join the PornReboot Intensive. That's our online live group coaching where we have a community of smart, ambitious, and very dedicated men who want to get over this behavior and move on with their life. There's a link to that in the description below. So this is a little bit of a different video. It's not really my style to review stuff. I really want to just talk about your addiction and how we can help you and move things forward. So if you found it helpful, just like the video, share it with some friends who you think might find it helpful, and do subscribe to the channel. I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Have a wonderful day.